All right, Shabbat Shalom. Kahalo Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Akakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elder apostles, Salakia, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. And Shabbat Shalom and salutation to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. All right, so earlier today, I was watching a video lesson epistle put out by the elder apostle Tahar, and it was live then, and it was called "The Word Sign" in Deuteronomy 28 and 46. And what he was doing is he was at the moment he was focusing in on Gad being on the reservation, and he was bringing up a bunch of different images or photos of Gad on the reservation. And one of the photos had a couple of Gadites. One was standing on like an old Cadillac, I believe. And then there was, he was like, he had on a fitted hat, and, it was like modern day shot. He looked just like a Jake. And he said, I think he's got on a Tupac shirt. And sure enough, there was another Gadite in the same picture that was right next to the one with the fitted hat. And he actually did have on a Tupac t-shirt. And so, Elder Apostle, he says, see, they identify with Tupac. And so it came to me at that moment, I remember that Tupac's name actually is dealing with the tribe of Gad, okay? Or not the particular tribe of Gad. It could be one of the, not the North American Indians, but down in Peru. I got to figure out which one it was, so I'll do some further research on that, but it's talking about the 12 tribes. Okay, so let's look at, and I said to myself, I actually posted because I thought that Tupac Amaru, which is the rapper's name, his name is Tupac Amaru Shakur. And Tupac Amaru was the name, I believe, because I remember hearing it, was the name of a tribe, of particular Indians down in South America. And so I posted that, I said, Tupac is the name of a tribe of Indians. And then the Spirit led me to look a little closer into it. So I went to Wikipedia. And it turns out that Tupac Amaru was a king. He was an Incan king, right? And so I figured I'd just do a small little lesson, and anybody can go in depth, look in depth. But this is like a breadcrumb that this guy would be called Tupac Amaru. All right, so that came up. And then I seen a bunch of other brothers out doing, lessons on Gad. The brother Kazaki Allah was at the Pocahontas Park or Pocahontas Monument, and they were doing, since today is Zion or a monument or Memorial Day, so I might name this Remembering Tupac, not the rapper, but the Israelite, if you will. So let's watch this real quick. This is Tupac Facts. Rare. Tupac tells the story behind being named Tupac Amaru, Salaki. All right, so let's watch this real quick. Then I'll get a preset. Come
on. Tupac. My mother, when she gave birth to me, she was just coming out of jail, being in jail because they was holding her for the trial. So she had all these women, strong women around her. And she was like, what am I going to name my son? And it was this lady who just came from Peru. And she was telling her mother this folk story about this a true life Peruvian revolutionary named Tupac Amaru, who the government had told him, okay, we want to, he was fighting the government and he was really winning. These little fucking tribes was beating the government. And they said, okay, we want to stop fighting. We want to meet with Tupac Amaru. He came in and met with them and they said, we want to cease the fighting. Would you please cease the fighting? Too many people are dying. We're going to give you what you asked for. He said, okay. Told him to cease fire. As soon as they said cease fire, they cut his arms off, cut his head off, cut his legs off, and stuck him on a stick and put him in the middle of the village. So this is my reminder. That's my reminder. Every time you say my name, that's my reminder to never compromise myself and never quit. There's no such thing as a truce while people ain't free, regardless of who it is.
Okay, so he kept saying,
Tupac.
my reminder, my reminder. Well, we're remembering. That's what the day, Memorial Day, that was actually created by some Jakes. You know, somebody should go into that. But this is Memorial Day. So, and this is right here. This is called being drawn in court. This devil, right, used to do this type of stuff to Jake. And what you're going to find when we look into this is that these Native Americans, if you will, were slaves, right? And slavery was being instituted all the way up and down North and South America. It wasn't just Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, all right? See, people, they leave that part out about the slavery. But it was all, you know, hey, they're the tribes is what it is. Anybody trying to say that the Native Americans aren't Jakes, then you're in trouble for that. So anyway, Tupac Amaru, we put that into a search, and it comes out Tupac Amaru 2. Now we'll go to Wikipedia, and apparently this is him. I blew it up. Okay. That looks like a coat of arms, so that has something to do with Spain, it looks like. And by this time, you know, if they had been here since 1492 and this was in the 1800s, then there's an element of colonialism already coming in, okay? Because the ancient natives, they didn't have things like this, all right? If they did, it was more what they call primitive or whatever. So, but anyway, there are many depictions or images you can go back through. All right. Some of them look more modern. I liked that one. Anyway, so let's click on Tupac Amaru and let's read a little bit. Wikipedia. All right. And it reads, this is Wikipedia, Tupac Amaru 2. This article is about an 18th century Peruvian rebel. Rebel. He is not to be, He is not to be confused with the Inca ruler Tupac Amaru. Got it. Okay, so I'm learning as we go. All right. The contemporaneous rebel, Tupac Katari, from the religion now called Bolivia. Okay, so there's a bunch of revolutionaries, if you will, that take on the name Tupac. All right. Or the American rapper Tupac Shakur. Jose Gabriel Condor Cancul, known as Tupac Amaru II, was an indigenous cacique. Look at that. Cacique was a tribal chieftain of Taino people, the indigenous inhabitants of European contact of the Bahamas, the Greater Antilles, and Northern Lesser Antilles. The term is a Spanish translation of the word Taino, cacique. All right, so Tupac Amaru II was an indigenous cacique who led a large Andean, South America, rebellion against the Spanish in Peru. Okay, see that double-headed eagle there? He later became a mythical figure in the Peruvian struggle for independence and indigenous rights movement, as well as an inspiration to myriad causes in Spanish America and beyond. Now you got to understand that, okay, the indigenous Indians, if you will, that's Israel. And then you got Spanish, that's Edom. Okay? Fighting against you, that age old fight that started in the belly. All right? So basically, um, you know, this goes back to that struggle. All right? Let's read this. Let's jump down here. The corregidors and the exploitation of the natives. Although Spanish trusteeship labor system, okay, although the Spanish trusteeship labor system or encomienda had been abolished in 1720, the seventh of the population living in native communities, pueblos or indios, as well as permanent indigenous workers at the time living in the Andean region, Slovakia, of what is now Ecuador and Bolivia, who made up 9/10 of the population, were still pushed into forced labor. That's called slavery. See how they try to get around it? For what were legally labeled as public work projects. This shift from the encomienda to state-sponsored and controlled draft labor system. See, that's kind of like getting locked up today. Suddenly you become a slave again legally. Okay. Consolidations of the indigenous labor force in the hands of the local government and not in the individual encomenderos. Most natives worked under the supervision of a master, either tilling soil, mining, or working in textile mills. Okay? So this goes back to slavery. Now, what is slavery? Slavery is what happens to captives. Captives means you were captured in a war. Okay? You're a POW. What do you do with the POWs? You make them work. You slap chains on them, and you make them work. Same thing as going to prison. All right? We captured you. We slap the chains on you. Now you finna break these rocks, if you will. All right? Look, in addition, in the middle of the 18th century, mining production intensified, breaking rocks, putting more and more of a burden on the mita or draft labor system. Okay? Now, so they were in slavery under the Spanish Edomites. Okay? Rebellion. The Tupac Amaru Rebellion was an Incan revival movement that sought to improve the rights of indigenous Peruvians, Israelites, suffering under the Spanish Bourbon reforms. The rebellion was one of many Peruvian uprisings in the latter half of the 18th century. Somebody said that this guy, Tupac Amaru, was the South American equivalent of Nat Turner. Okay, it began with the capture and killing of Tinta Corregidor, Governor Antonio de Arriaga, on November 4th, 1780, after a banquet attended by both Tupac Amaru II and Governor Arriaga. The immediate cause of the rebellion lay in grievances caused by a series of modernizing reforms of the colonial administration implemented by the Bourbon monarchy in Spain under Charles III, centralizing administrative and economic control of placing heavier tax and labor burdens on both the Indian and Creole populations. All right, so they wasn't having it. They were being further and further oppressed, and they said, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to rise up and fight. Okay, so that's basically um, what this name goes back to. And these names are breadcrumbs to take us back to, our history and what was actually going on. Death, let's read this real quick. Amaru too was sentenced to be executed. He was forced to watch the deaths of his wife, his eldest son, his uncle, his brother-in-law. And we've seen that before in the Maccabees, right? This is history repeating itself. All right, so right here. After the failed dismemberment by the four horses, his body was quartered, and he was then beheaded on the main plaza in Cusco. All right, drawn and quartered, right here. All right, that's the devil doing his thing. Okay, so then it goes into the aftermath. When the revolt continued, the Spaniards executed the remainder of his family except his 12-year-old son, Fernando, who had been condemned to die with him, but was instead imprisoned in Spain for the rest of his life. So these devils, they had their way, all right? But that's what this name goes back to. So, if a brother wants to, Salaki, do a deeper dive, a deeper in-depth summary, you go right ahead. I just wanted to bring out that name Tupac goes back to our people. All right, so quickly, I'm gonna just get a couple of scriptures because I know I haven't brought anything. You ain't brought out no scriptures. So let me see. Let's get this first. A troop. Because I don't know if this is Gad per se. I don't know who the Incas are. Salakia. Let's just get this anyway. All right, because we know that this is talking about the Indians are Gad. All right, so Genesis 49:19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. All right. Let's stay right in there. Let me look at some of these names and try to break it down. Judah, Zebulon. Is it Zebulon? Or is it further up? Zebulon, Naphtali. I'm going to find out. I believe it's Zebulon. Because Peru, I believe, is right off of the coast. Zebulon shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for a haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Okay. That was in Genesis. This is in Revelation. Where's Zebulon? This is Revelation 7 and 8. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. So lucky. Let me get this real quick. Of the tribes, this is Revelation 7 and 6. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. All right. So, hey, this is the kingdom of heaven right here. No matter what happened to us before that. All right. Let me look for something real quick. Let me look at this. Go back here. Okay, so when we look at this, okay, Zebulon, Guatemala to Panama. I don't think that, let's see. Argentina to Chile. It might be Naphtali. It's looking like. Let's see. Asher is Colombia to Uruguay. I need a South American map. Let's see. Bear with me. I'm just doing a little something I probably should have did before. Let's find Peru. Okay, so Peru is way up there, and it's on the inland. Okay, where's Peru? Santiago, Peru. Okay, so Peru is over here on the water. Okay, I don't like that map. Okay, here's Peru. It is by the water. Okay. So what would this be as to the chart? The chart says Guatemala to Panama. This is not very helpful. Let's see. Venezuela, okay. Ecuador. Okay, so bear with me. I'm trying to figure this out. Argentina. So Argentina to Chile. Argentina to Chile is down here. So this is going to be Naphtali down there. Zebulon, where? Let's see. Asher. Asher. Let's see if it's Asher. Colombia. Where's Colombia? Colombia to Ecuador, it says. Let's see. Colombia to Uruguay. Where's Uruguay? Uruguay is way down here. Colombia to Uruguay. I don't even know how you get that. Okay, so anyway, Slovakia for my confusion. Okay, Guatemala to Panama. Guatemala to Panama's got to be right up in here. It's not even showing it. Okay, let's look at this. Here's Guatemala. Here's Panama. Okay, so this would be Ishikar. Guatemala to Panama. So this is on the isthmus. Let's see. Okay, Guatemala to Panama is who? Okay, that's Zebulon. And Naphtali is further down. Let's see. Okay, now who am I looking for? Asher. Asher, Colombia to Europe. Colombia to what? Uruguay. Colombia. Where? Okay, from here to here. So Asher, maybe? The Peruvians are Asher? I thought Brazil was Asher. Maybe all of this is Asher. That's what it's looking like. Okay, so that being said, where do we go? Right here. Again. Revelation 7 and 6, of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Okay, if that's Asher. Now let's go back to Genesis. Slovakia. Bear with me. I'm doing this in the spirit, so. So Genesis 49 and 20, out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Okay, well, this guy apparently was where is it? I went away from it, right? An Incan ruler. And where were the Incas at? Were the Incas? Tupac, Bolivia. Okay, so not him, and not him. Wait. So apparently, okay, so the Incas. Modern day descendants of Esau. Let's run a search on it. Okay. The descendants of the Inca are the present day Quechua speaking peasants of the Andes who constitute perhaps 45% of the population of Peru. Going back. Okay, so the Peruvian kings. What happened? Man. Okay, so that takes us right back. Now we go back to what was it? This? Okay, Peruvian rebel, not to be the Incas, the ruler. What? If the Incas are Peruvians, all right, he took the name, this guy took the name from this guy, the Incan ruler, who are the Peruvians. Okay? This guy. Okay, no, not this guy. That's the rebel. See, they're not saying nothing about they're not saying nothing about Tupac Amaru, the ruler. So who's Tupac Amaru 1? This is going long, but see how they go around the ruler? Does not exist. Let's go here. All right. Was the last monarch, Sepa Inca, the remains of the Incan Empire. He was executed by the Spanish following a months-long pursuit after the fall of the last stronghold of the Neo-Incan state. So this is the original guy. That's the original Tupac Amaru. And then the rebel was the one that came, that named him. The rebel was Jose, what's his name? We just go away from that. This guy. Okay, 2. This is Jose Gabriel Condorcanqui. Noriega, what? Naguera. 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 Okay? So he's not the king. This guy's the king. All right, this is the original Tupac Amaru. All right? Going back to those kings, where were we? Genesis. Out of Asher, this is Genesis 49 and 20. Out of Asher, his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Tupac Amaru. All right? Just going in the spirit. So, with that, I was just recognizing on Memorial Day Tupac Amaru, not the rapper. But you see how the breadcrumbs led back right here in the spirit. Led back to Asher. All right? And that age old fight of Jacob and Esau. Right? Genesis 25. Get it? It's going to take too long. Bear with me. I thus? This is Genesis 25 and 22. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. All right? Here's the fight. Right? And the fight actually goes back to Cain and Abel. All right? And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. All right? And this is Asher, a king. Tupac Amaru was the last monarch of the Neo-Inca state. All right? All right, so anyway, with that, we're going to end it there. We hope that the elect were edified, you brothers and few sisters. And with that, we're going to say Shabbat Shalom.